All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're stepping far outside our usual brightly lit world to look at a mythic, really dark parable of ultimate decay. I want you to imagine, just for a moment, observing our universe not from the warm, safe comfort of Earth, but from the cold, completely detached cosmic perspective of something called the Great Star of Negation. We are exploring a Gothic tale known as the Arithmetic of the Great Zero. And let me tell you, it's a story that takes absolutely everything we fundamentally assume about life, meaning, and creation and completely turns it on its head. So, let's dive right in.
Existence is a fever, consciousness, the delirium. I really want you to sit with that for a second. We usually treat life as this sacred gift, right? A miraculous spark in the dark. But the philosophy we're unpacking today shatters that illusion right out of the gate. From this perspective, being alive isn't a miracle at all. It's a sickness. It's a chaotic, feverish state that violently disrupted the perfect, silent peace of nothingness. You have to hear this with a certain haunting detachment. It's not spoken with anger. It's spoken with the absolute, chilling certainty of a cosmic physician diagnosing the universe with a terminal illness. Section 1, the bleeding witching hour. To truly grasp this, we have to look at where the parable actually begins. The clock in the bell tower of Weimar did not strike 3, it bled it. What a line, right? It brilliantly sets this tone of unnatural dread that just drips from the story. We're at the exact freezing point of the witching hour. Time itself isn't just passing, it's wounded. It's oozing into reality. You can almost feel the wrongness of the moment. We aren't just in some spooky location. We're in a moment where the fundamental laws of reality are literally beginning to hemorrhage. Picture this incredible Gothic tableau. The air is thick with the sour scent of vinegar and the dry, dead smell of old parchment. And right there stands our tragic antagonist, Baron von Nichts, alone on the jagged crown of a mountain known as the Brocken. He's wearing a pristine Prussian coat buttoned tightly against a wind that carries absolutely zero warmth. And above him, the sky rips open to reveal the Great Star of Negation. It's this massive, motionless celestial body, burning with a cold anti-light that casts black shadows upward into the heavens. The Baron is standing utterly alone beneath this zenith, a man who has completely and utterly divorced himself from the warmth of humanity. Moving on to our next section, the Grammar of Unmaking. The Baron raises his iron staff and recites a creed that is just chilling. He says, the first word was light, and it was a mistranslation. To create is to commit a crime against the peace of the void. Therefore, let the grammar of being be unmade. I deny the sunrise. I deny the spark. Let the great zero consume the sum. This isn't just some magic spell. It's a profound, terrifying philosophical argument. He's arguing that the creation of the universe was a mistake, a literal mistranslation of the original perfect silence. He doesn't just want to destroy things. He wants to deny the spark entirely and unmake the foundational grammar of reality itself. So the absolutely crucial point here is how the Baron defines consciousness. To him, it's an aberrant spark. Think about when you've had a terrible, raging fever. Your mind races, you hallucinate, you suffer. That is exactly how the Baron views all of human life. We are essentially the hallucinations of a sick universe. Every thought, every feeling, every piece of art or towering architecture, it's all just the agonizing thrashing of a delirium that broke the ultimate beautiful piece of the void. He doesn't actually hate humanity, he pities us for having to endure the sickness of existence.
Which brings us to the first sloughing. This philosophy doesn't just stay in the Baron's head. As he finishes his creed, the lightless star pulses, and we get this rapid, incredibly graphic novel-style sequence. First, an oily, heavy silver liquid, quicksilver, just oozes right out of the air, pooling on the frostbitten granite. Second, this volatile fluid twists upward, solidifying into coarse ash-gray priest robes and a rigid black leather plague doctor's mask. Third, the entity takes its first breath. And fourth, the immediate reaction of the world. The skin of the earth wrinkles and peels away like burnt paper. The moss dies. The rocks turn to gray ash. This sequence is called the first sloughing. It is literally stripping away nature's illusions. Let's define exactly what this horrific entity is. This is the mercurial spirit, the grand architect of decay. And the imagery here is incredibly deliberate. That plague doctor mask with its long, sickle-like beak, Historically, that represented the immediate presence of death and disease, but its glass eyes reflect only the cold, anti-light of the star above. It isn't a demon from hell. It's the pure, physical embodiment of the Baron's philosophy. It totally cements its role as the definitive harbinger of the age of nihilistic negation. Let's move to our next core part, the cages of stone. The Baron and his spirit descend the mountain, setting the stage for a dramatic collision between fragile human ambition and the absolute void. They encounter a builder who has spent his entire life meticulously crafting a magnificent marble monument. The builder desperately pleads with them, crying out, "This stone is my truth. It proves I existed. It gives weight to my years." And honestly, I think we can all relate to this on some level. It so perfectly captures humanity's tragic need to leave a permanent mark on the world. We build, we create, we work, all to prove that we were here, desperately trying to give our fleeting lives some sense of permanent weight. But the Baron just looks at the monument with eyes as cold as that star he summoned and delivers this crushing, incredibly authoritative response. Man is an animal so terrified of his own weightlessness that he builds cages of stone and calls them metrics of the soul. Value is a ghost you chase to avoid looking into the abyss beneath your feet. Wow, the Baron totally exposes human ambition as nothing more than a defense mechanism. He's basically saying, you aren't building a legacy, you're building a cage to hide from the terrifying reality that, in the grand scheme of the cosmos, you are entirely weightless. This brilliantly illustrates the vast gulf between two entirely opposing worldviews. Just think about traditional enlightenment. For centuries, humanity has sought light, right? We try to add knowledge. We try to accumulate spiritual or legacy weight. We constantly want to be more. But the philosophy of the Great Zero demands the exact opposite. It's a dark enlightenment that actively seeks anti-light. It wants to erase the grammar of being, completely subtract all meaning, and embrace absolute weightlessness. It argues that adding to your life only adds to your suffering. And finally, we arrive at the arithmetic of freedom. This brings us to the parable's inevitable climax. The Baron's dark enlightenment is about to be brutally proven on the builder's lifework. At the Baron's command, the mercurial spirit simply touches the marble. And here is the fascinating part. The stone does not shudder. An explosion would be violent. It would be an active, chaotic existence. Instead, the very language of its form is erased. The entire concept of the monument is unwritten from reality. It just unravels into gray powder, effortlessly returning to the peace of the void. It's such a chilling visual because it represents the total, effortless subtraction of human effort. The builder is left weeping, feeling like the world has just lost all its meaning. As the builder stares down at the dust of his life's work, the Baron offers him the cold, final comfort of his philosophy. Imagine this spoken with absolute, detached authority echoing in the cold air. Now the cage is gone. Stand in the dirt, look at your empty hands, and learn the only true arithmetic. Subtract everything from nothing, and you are finally free. It's a haunting, devastating conclusion. It leaves us staring right into the ultimate abyss, really forcing us to ask ourselves, is our endless search for meaning just a cage we build to hide from the void? Or is there truly something worthwhile in the fever of existence? I'll leave you to ponder that. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer.